Who is Shakira? Shakira is the feminine version of Shakir, which means grateful in Arabic. Before all, I am a woman of God. I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a daughter, sister, friend, and a boss. Shakira, Shakira, Shakira. That's me. And this is my story. In 2018, I put on the vision board a ring. I put a ring on that vision board, and I still had a vision board. I can show y'all. This is not for play. This is my real life. Um, I was like, okay, I did that. I lived a little bit. Now I'm ready. Like, I'm just like a relationship type of girl. Like, I like to be in a relationship. I was like, I want to get married because I want to have kids. Because for so long, like, I felt ashamed and I didn't think that God would allow me to have kids because of the mistake that I made. But 2018, y'all, it was February 2018. And mind you, I'm still teaching. I'm still, dibbling dabbling, going out here and there. I had a homegirl at the time. She invited me to come out, and I'm like, I don't know. I gotta be teaching in the morning. Like, that's probably the best for my mental or for me to be able to wake up in the morning. But nonetheless, I ended up going out with her that night, and that's when my life changed forever, for real. So I went out with her, and at the time she was doing like PR for this little artist here in Atlanta area. I ain't gonna say little, that's just like something that Atlanta people say. He's an artist. But and the guy who picked us up was his manager, which is now my husband. Weird. So he picked us up and was bringing us to the club. And y'all, I got in this man's car and we literally had like our first disagreement. Okay, he is driving, she in the passenger seat because they already know each other, and I'm in the back seat. And I think he goes to litter, and I tell him, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you're not about to be littering out here in these streets. Like, that is not what you're supposed to do. So we get into it on about like why he feel like littering is okay, and I tell him why I say littering is not okay. And it was just like a cute little disagreement. So we went to the club or whatever, and the artist had like a videographer there getting footage of him in the club, and she was also taking pictures. So I'm just vibing, me and my homegirl vibing, dancing and stuff like that. I didn't know that the photographer was taking pictures of me in particular, but obviously she did. So anyways, we went to the first club, and then we left that club and went to the next club. And mind you, we're still with the same guy who I had the disagreement with in his car, telling him not to litter. So he took a bottle from the first club to the next club. And when we was in the next club, it wasn't like that many people in there. So, but it's obviously music because we're in the club. But this dude is like trying to have a conversation with me. And I always said, like, I'm not dating nobody from Atlanta. Like, definitely not meeting them in no nightclub. Like, that was just one of my things. So he's like trying to have a full out conversation with me in the club. And I'm like, sir, don't you hear this music? Like, we cannot do this here. So he ended up asking me to take a picture of him. So I took a picture of him on my phone, and then I sent it to him from my phone. So then he had my phone number. So I didn't think nothing of it. I'm just like, okay, this who picked us up, like, took the picture, boom. So he drops us back to our cars at her neighborhood at the end of the night, and at her door he drops her off and then takes me to like the visitor area. So then I get out the back seat, he gets out the car. I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, you're not gonna give me a hug? And I'm like, oh no, you like that? Like, what you talking about? So he like, yeah, give me a hug. And then he like, let me know when you make it home. So obviously he knew I had his number because I sent him the picture. So I'm like, okay. So I go to my car and everything, and I head home, and I let him know I made it home. I did text him and let him know I made it home, but I wasn't thinking nothing of it again. So that was the end of the night. The next morning, y'all, this guy sends me the devotion for the day. So his big thing was Joel Osteen. Like, he sent me that, and mine is the Bible app. And I would send that to my group of people, like my friends. So when he sent that to me, I'm like, he's sending me the word. Like, I'm the one that sent out the word, in my community or whatever. So I was like, that's crazy. Like, that's really weird. So from that, I had told him that we was just like kind of texting back and forth, and it was up from there. We were inseparable. And this guy is Sahara Bird Brinson, my husband. And y'all, literally from February 2018, minus a few trips that we probably took solo in between, we were inseparable. Like, we spent every single day together. Man, we have so many memories together. Like, I'm so glad that we lived our life the way that we did. We live our life out loud. We take pictures, we take videos, because I have so many memories of us, and just from that time, like, it was like nonstop. Like, every day he like, what you doing? Like, I want to see you. Like, we linking up, like, every day, like, we having dinner together. Like, it was just nonstop. Mind you, this is February. So April comes, and mind you, I'm a teacher. So I'm like, well, spring break is coming, I might take a trip, yada, yada, yada. But he's like, oh, well, I'm actually taking a trip to Miami at the end of the month. You should come with me. So I'm like, okay, well then maybe I just won't take the trip here, and I'll go to Miami with him at the end of the month. So I will never forget the day. It's 420. We went to Miami for the weekend, and that was like our first trip together. It was a vacation or whatever. And he kind of like introduced me to his world and his friends, and that's where my brother and my sister are now, George and Rosa. And y'all, we had a grand time. It was a great weekend. It was when we first made it like official. So from February, we had been spending all that time together, but in April in Miami, that's when he asked me to be his girlfriend. And yeah, that's when we made it official. And that wasn't the only thing that we made official, okay? Y'all, we had a great weekend down there. 1942 shots and all that kind of stuff. And then I come back, and May is wrapping up the school year. And y'all, I just felt so tired the last week of school. And we have field day the last week of school as well. So I'm like, these kids are running me tired. Like, BB next door, come over here and watch my kids for me so I can take a nap. I'm like, I'm exhausted. So, y'all, it was not because of field day why I was exhausted. Y'all, I found out I was pregnant the freaking last week of school of teaching. So I'm like, BB, I'm tired. Can you come over here and watch my kids while I take a nap? Woo, thank God I'm not in the school system no more. Y'all, I was not sleeping with my kids. But anyways, she came over. She was like, yeah, you seem really just off. Like, you're not really ever this tired. So y'all, I was texting him at work. I was like, yeah, today's been a day. I'm exhausted. I was like, I don't know. We might need to take a test. So that evening, like, he came home, well, to his house with the pregnancy test and some flowers. And y'all, we took the test, and I was pregnant. And it was like, it was a weird feeling. It was definitely weird because, like I said, I felt like God wasn't gonna allow me to get pregnant ever again because of the mistake I made. And then I felt like I just met this dude, like, what the heck? Like, how am I pregnant? And then it was just like also a good feeling because our connection was so strong. So the first person I told obviously was my mom. Like, I called her and I was like, I got something to tell you. I'm like, she shouldn't be disappointed. This time I'm older, I'm more established. Like, this is a different situation. So, yeah, like, he was so excited, like, because we are 10 years apart. So he was like the only one out of all his friends who had waited into his 30s to start having kids. Like, he hadn't had any kids up until that point. So he was actually really excited. And it was just it from there. That's when I was pregnant with Sincere. That's how Sincere came along. Miami, 420.
Good baby too.
He's really here. So he officially came January 21st.
January 20, 11/23.
Oh.
Just missed the cut.
You came on time, just like I am. Moving on, y'all. It's been a journey. So the day that I went to the doctor to like confirm it and to get like the first ultrasound, I think I was like 8 weeks pregnant at that point. So when we left the hospital, not the hospital, we left the doctor and we were going about our day. I think we were like gonna go to the park and walk or something, or go out to eat or something like that. But y'all, we got in an accident. A truck hit us from behind. The same day that I went to the doctor, found out I'm pregnant, we get into an accident. And he's driving my car and I'm like, if it's not one thing, it's another. So thankfully, we weren't hurt like super bad or anything like that. But it was a hit from behind, so the guy was at fault. And obviously we had to go to the hospital and the baby was okay and everything like that. But that was like our first big thing like that happened together with us. But that year, like I said, we met and our life was on a fast track. Like, everything just started happening like back to back to back to back. So after the doctor's appointment, we still living life, still taking pictures, doing videos, traveling, like still just living our best life every day. And August comes around and his birthday is also in August, and he's like, let's take a trip, for my birthday. Like, we should go somewhere. And it's like every conversation that we ever had, like, he remembered everything that I would tell him. So along the time of us like getting to know each other, I told him like I always wanted to ride horses on the beach. And he started sending me like links one day of riding horses on the beach in Savannah. And that's when his birthday was coming up. He was like, let's take a trip. Like, I sent you all those links because I want to take you to ride horses on the beach. So I really felt like, I was like, wow, like this guy is really like listening to like what I'm saying, like, and you executing like quick. Like, people don't do that. Like, they'll just, hear what you gotta say and put it in the back of their mind, or take years and years and years for it to happen. Not him. He was a man with a plan. He knew what he wanted and he was locked in. So we took the trip for his birthday, and y'all, we went to Savannah and we rode horses on the beach, which was such a beautiful experience. And the day that we were about to leave the beach, he's like, let's go walk on the beach for a little bit. Since we're about to leave, it's our last day. And y'all, this man proposes. And I'm like, what in the world? Like, I never had like imagined in my head like what my proposal would look like. But it was just me and him there. So he proposed. He was like, I found some seashells while I was walking, and then he like showed me the ring. Like, it was one of those. It was the sweetest thing ever. But yes, he proposed. So our engagement anniversary is the same day as his birthday, August 6th. And like I said, fast track, things just moving. I'm pregnant. Now he's proposing. So now we're engaged. And we came back home, still together, meeting up every day and, living our best life. And by the end of the year, he's like, okay, what are we doing? Like, our child is going to be here in January. We got 2 houses because that was the thing. I came with all my stuff. He came correct with all his stuff. And he like, we got 2 houses. We need to consolidate. Like, where do you want to live at? And he basically gave me the choice. Like, do I want to live at my house or live at his house? And I chose my house. And, you know, he ended up selling his house and we moved in together. And y'all, Sincere was here before we know it. Okay, Sincere, that pregnancy was so smooth. It was so peaceful. I did not get sick at all with Sincere. Like, I literally was able to just relax and soak in the moments of being pregnant because, like I told y'all, it was the end of the school year, so it was summertime. So during the summer, teachers don't work, but we get paid. And I was able to just, you know, enjoy pregnancy. So when it was time to have Sincere, Sincere was born on January 20th, 2019. And I didn't know what was happening when I started having contractions. Like, I was like, okay, it's time to have this baby. Like, let's get to the hospital. And I was in labor for a very long time. I want to say like 18, 19 hours. But I wasn't really dilating a lot. And I could remember, like, in the moment being in the hospital, like, just having flashbacks of, you know, the mistake that I made when I was younger and thinking, like, wow, God, like, you really love me. Like, you gave me another chance. And I had manifested also that I wanted to have a son. Like, I wanted to have a little boy first because I felt like that seed that was planted back when I was in 7th grade, that was a boy. Like, it was just like in my spirit. So in the hospital, I'm like, wow, God, like, thank you. Like, just showing gratitude. Like, just, this is a full circle moment. And this time it's right. Like, I got a whole man, like, we're engaged. Like, it just felt so different. And yeah, like, I wasn't dilating, y'all. I was like 18 hours in. I tried to do the whole natural thing. And finally I gave in and I got an epidural and I had to have an emergency C-section. Traumatizing. Okay. That was a very traumatic experience. And I never want this for any woman. I remember the doctors coming in and telling my husband, like threw him the gown and stuff, like, here, hurry up and change, like, we got to get her out of here to have an emergency C-section. It like all happened so fast. It was like a just trickle down effect. So as they threw him the stuff, like, he's trying to change and get into it, and they're rushing me out to get to the surgery room. So I remember him, like, you know, behind me or trying to keep up, like, as he's changing and stuff, and they just rolling me out so fast and put me in this room. And I remember getting in the room and I'm like, where's my husband? Like, he's not here. Like, they had closed the door and he didn't make it in time. So I'm like freaking out. I'm like, this is not how I imagined, like, giving birth. Like, this, what is going on? Like, I was very scared. And I remember the doctor, like, touched me with the needle or something, and I could feel it. I could feel the cut. And I was like, ouch. Like, and they were like, she can feel it. And then I just remember them putting the mask over my face and, like, I was asleep. And I woke up and my mom was sitting here and Sahara was standing here and my 2 friends at the time were there. And it was just like, I don't know what just happened, but there was no more baby in me. So I'm like, where's my baby? Where's my baby? And Sahara, my husband, he was able to see Sincere first. He was able to be there in the nursery with him, and they rolled him over to whatever you call the room you like go after a C-section. They rolled him over there, and I was able to hold him for the first time. And I just remember, again, just, y'all, gratitude. Gratitude is so important. Like, no matter what you've done in life, no matter how much you have, like, just never stop showing gratitude, because when God sees that you appreciate the things that he do for you, like he's going to continue to bless you with more. And I was like, thank you, God. Like, this is amazing. My baby's here. Like, we did it. Like, I really have a child. Even to this day, I'd be looking at my kids like, wow, girl, you got 2 kids. But it was a very traumatic experience. But once I got to hold him, I just felt so at peace. And like, I finally got a piece of me that had been missing for so long. And me and my husband, we like looked at each other and I was like, babe, we did it. Like, I love you so much. And that was Sincere's birth. And every single day I was able to be with my son. Like, my husband was like, you don't have to work. Like, I want you to be a mom. Like, that's your job. And he wanted me to just make sure like our child was taken care of. And he was like, he knew the goals and stuff that I had and the stuff that I wanted to work on. So he was like, I want you to just focus on you. Like, do what you want to do. A man is a provider, and that's what I am. And that's what he told me. So I was able to be with Sincere every single day of his life. Whew. I had very, very hard days. Very, very hard days. But there was nothing like being able to see every milestone and be there for every milestone versus like a teacher or a babysitter or someone telling you like, this is what your child did today. I got to experience it firsthand. Whew. The little boy is 3 now, going on 13, but that is my sunshine. And when Sincere was born, that's when Life is So Sincere, the brand, was born. And for anybody who's a mom out there, I know y'all feel me. Like, when you have kids, like, you go through, it's like a rebirth. Like, you get this spark inside of you to just want to do more. And that's when I feel like I'm really about to live out God's mission for my life. Like, purpose has came, like it has arrived. It's like a enlightening moment. And like I said, that's when Life is So Sincere brand was born. And I started blogging. I started sharing more of my life on social media. Because I had already been on social media for some years and just sharing, things that I would do. But as I started sharing more just as a mom and the things that I was experiencing. And postpartum depression is so real. It's so real. And postpartum looks different for everyone. It doesn't mean all this time that, I want to kill myself. That's not what postpartum depression means. Like, you can experience different things. And for me, like, I was so happy. It was like I was so high on life, but it was so fast. Like, so much was happening so quick. Like, I got pregnant, got engaged, we moved in together, we're about to get married. Like, so much was happening. Like, my life was changing right before my eyes. So it was just like me having to constantly remind myself, like, God's timing, like, just be grateful, just show gratitude. So anyways, on social media, I was sharing my life, and I started doing like little segments on my IG stories called Your Favorite Mother Son Duo. So every morning, Sincere and I would just go in front of the window to get some sunlight, because he was born in the winter. So we would go in front of the window to get some sunlight, and I would be like, it's your favorite mother son duo. And we would create encouraging videos just for people every day. Like, just whatever came to my mind that God placed on my heart to share with the world, I would share with them. And basically just tell people, like, be positive no matter what your circumstances are. Like, spread love, like, focus on your goals. Like, whatever the message was that came to me, that's what I shared. And I did that consistently, like, every single day. I wasn't getting paid to do it or nothing like that. That's just something that I enjoy doing, because again, I love to help people. I love to encourage people. And we did that so people came to really love that. And if I missed today, y'all best believe people were in my DMs like, girl, where is the favorite mother son duo? Where y'all at? Like, I look forward to your messages every morning. And that's when I started to realize, like, wow, like, this is really bigger than me. Like, God has a message for me to get to somebody else who may really need this message. When people were asking me on days that I would miss it. So I just really enjoyed doing that, and it brought me so much joy. I would stay up late nights just journaling, just writing down like my ideas and like, just content that I wanted to create, like with my son, and like family photo shoots, like, because I always dreamed of like having this family, and like we take pictures together, we have experiences together, we travel the world. So literally my son had a passport. By the time he was 3 months old, we went on our first trip. He was 4 months. We went to Cali, and it was beautiful. I knew that I wanted to just be able to create these memories with the family that I created. Because family isn't always about where you come from. It's about what you create or what you make it to be. So I knew that even though I came from, some circumstances and my father wasn't in my life, like, I had a great man. I have a great man who is here for me and here for his kid. Like, so I can't let, despite what I went through, I can't let that be. That's not my future. Your past does not determine your future.